Assalamu alaikum, and welcome to another episode of the Chocolate Sheikh. I am the Chocolate Sheikh, and today I'd like to give or read a narration by our Holy Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace, as regards how it is that we should live our lives. Because of some of the things I've said in the last two videos, I wanted to make it clear about how it is that we should live and how it is that we should structure our lives. Because I think in one of the past videos, I said something similar to the fact that when we deal with the future, right? I think it was episode 12. When we deal with the future is unrealistic, right? The future is all make-believe. It's what's in our heads. It's not a reality yet. And I was emphasizing in that particular video that we should emphasize where we are now and what's going on now in our lives. Don't put too much care into the future because it's not real, and all it does is causes anxiety. But if we live our lives in the present moment, then we have control over our affairs, right? That was the point that I was trying to make. But I was asked by at least two brothers, well, what about the future? Isn't the future important? Shouldn't we be talking about the future and planning out for our futures, right? How is it that we live in the moment, but at the same time leave the past to the past and also start to structure out our futures, right? How do we do that? How we build out of a future? And are we not supposed to do so and only concern ourselves with what's right in front of our faces? So a statement from Prophet Muhammad came to me, on him be peace, and I thought, man, this is perfect. This is a perfect illustration of how it is that we should live our lives. Now, what I'm about to say is called, in the English language anyway, an oxymoron. Okay? So the statement that I'm about to give you is an oxymoron and should be accepted as such. And in an oxymoron, all it does is teaching a lesson. The statement is not to be understood to be intellectually congruent, okay? But the statement is made so it makes you think about the statement itself. And it makes you think about what it's trying to deliver, right? The oxymoron gives a power to the idea that's being delivered. So what did he say? He said, live as though you are going to die today, but also live your life as though you're going to live forever. Again, you live your life as though you're going to die later that day, but also live your life as though you have to plan for it forever. Okay? So, what is our dear beloved Holy One saying? What is he trying to tell us or depart to us or on us? I think it should be pretty obvious, right? That when you live your life, or when we live our lives, we should live our lives fully in the moment, fully in the present. That when we could breathe, you're healthy, or even if you're not healthy, right? You don't have to always be healthy. We think about health and wealth and money, and, we think about these things as like a blessing. And most certainly they are blessings, but they could also be curses, right? And sometimes when we don't have full power of health, and we do have some issues that we're dealing with in life, right? Life throws us those storms, or we get some turbulence. Those can also be blessings. So sometimes being broke can be a blessing. And sometimes being in ill health can be a blessing, because it turns you on to what it is the Prophet Muhammad is saying in the statement, right? So you live as though you're going to die today. So you live in a way where you get the absolute fullness out of your life, is what our dear beloved messenger of God is saying. That's all he's saying. You live your life to the fullest in the present moment. And you suck out of your life every bit of juice that you can, to get yourself conscious of why you're living, conscious about your relationship with God, conscious about your relationship with your loved ones, right? Your peers, your co-workers. So this is what the messenger of Allah is trying to tell us, right? Get the fullness out of life. As if you knew by sunset, death was going to be tapping you on the shoulder and your soul was going to be collected and brought back to its origin, right? It's going to be taken back to the Creator. Now, on the other side, our dear beloved Holy Prophet, on him be peace, said, you also live your life as though you're going to live forever. You make plans as though you're going to live forever. And what he's saying with that is, although you're going to live your life like I'm going to die today, meaning you get the fullness out of your life. But he's also saying that we have to make plans. Plan your life out where it makes sense for believing people. Because see, believing people, that's another thing we have to say here. Believing people understand of all different religions and stripes and ilks, right? We understand that this life is transitory. This life is not something that's going to be here forever. We're passing through this. Wherever we believe we come from, whatever mythology we have about how it is or where it is we come from, right? Because every people's, every culture's, every religion has its own mythology about where were we before we were here in the physical. Even if I said believing people, but I guess even if you're atheist or agnostic, you have to have some kind of understanding about, where was I before I was here and inside of the belly or the womb of my mother. But definitely we believing people, we have our mythology around that. Where were we? In Al-Islam, we call that the chamber of souls, that we were in a place where the human beings, we had already had relationships with one another. We knew each other. We had these relationships with ourselves, and we had these relationships with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is the creator, right? And in Islam, it's called the chamber of souls, in our particular religious mythology. And we come from the chamber of souls, and then you're put inside of the womb or the seed of your father, who would deposit it in the womb of your mother, right? This is what we're told. But in the chamber of souls, there are relationships there. Now we leave the chamber of souls and we come into this material being, right? We're given our machines, what people look at. And when they look at this face and these fingers, this beard, nose, mouth, ears, right? And these eyes, they say, oh, that's Akil. Or that's brother Muhammad. Or that's brother Hassan. Or that's brother Tariq, right? This is what they say. And we become that, right? We become that. That develops then into a part of our psyche, the ego, the persona. And then when people see you, they say, oh, that's brother Hassan. Oh, that's Sheikh Muhammad, right? Now, we understand that you have that period of life, maybe 70 years, 80 if you're lucky. And then you transition out of this physical machine, this mechanism we call a body, and then you go somewhere else, depending on where it is that your religious mythology tells you go. And for the Muslim, for people who believe in Al-Islam, we say, okay, that's Jannah, right? Or Jahannam. Hopefully not Jahannam. That's paradise, or what we call heaven in the Western world, or Jahannam, the hellfire. You go to hell, what we call hell in the Western world. Okay, so we know that this little span of life we have, from the time we come out of our mother's womb until we, pass out of this existence, is very short. It's very short. About 80 years max nowadays. Okay, and that's long life. All right. The vast majority of Americans, we die in our 50s. Believe it or not. American men, particularly, especially, we die in our 50s. We don't make it to 60. The American men who make it to 60 and above is a minority, a little short number. right? And those die off as well before they get to 70. Then an American man in the 70s, that's almost like seeing a pink elephant. So you don't see that much, right? So if you're an American man, then you have to understand that your life, you basically talking about rounding out about the 60s, okay? Late 50s. That's for heart disease, they say, is the number one killer of American men. We go through our lives, and right about we get into those 50s, we start having heart issues, right? So the point of this is that the mythology, whatever your religious mythology is, it lets you know that you were spirit or something before you became physical. And now you're in this physical realm for about, let's go ahead and max it out to about 80. And I'm being gracious, right? And then you leave your 80s, you transition, you expire and transition into another spiritual realm or another dimension, right? So this is what we believe. So you have to plan for your life and understand that you are, first of all, it's transitory. So you don't put a lot of weight on yourself going through this life and understanding that, hey, I have to concentrate not only on this life, but I have to concentrate on my transition out of this life. Okay. So the little time that we're here, we make plans. So I did make a statement in the past, I think it was episode 12, where I was talking about how it is that we should concentrate only on the moment and don't let the future bring us anxiety because we're so caught up and worried about the future, right? But Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wa alihi, he is telling us, no, you have to worry about the future some as well, right? Live your life fully in the moment, but also at the same time concern yourself with making some plans for your future. Now, when we make these plans, we make these plans with the idea that I was just speaking about, that you're making these plans as a traveler. You're making these plans as a wayfarer, understanding as a believer that you're not doing anything that's going to be permanent in this life. That everything you do in this life, that house you build, that car you bought, those children you had, that wife that you set up, that spouse that you set up, the business that you set up, everything we've done, we know is going to turn to smoke and ashes one day, right? It'll all be smoke and ashes, right? It will not be permanent. It won't stand like a mountain, like Mountain Kilimanjaro, right? It won't be a Mountain Kilimanjaro. Oh, we think so in our little minds, in our little hearts about the things we do, right? That I'm going to build something special here. And, we think it's going to last forever, and it won't. It'll last a generation, maybe the next generation with your children. And then after that, up in smoke. If your name was on any building, the people behind you will come back. And who's this guy? The chocolate shake. Who is this guy? No. Yeah, we're going to let him go. We appreciate what the chocolate shake did. But we're going to now name this, we're going to call this, whatever hospital now. Or whatever library now. The names will change. Or some street. Oh, the street is named the Chocolate Shake Avenue. Okay, that's good. Yes, very good. And that'll stay that way for a generation. Then the next generation will come, have their heroes and sheroes, and Chocolate Shake Avenue is gone. Right now, they can have another name on the avenue from somebody else that's important to these people at that time. Right? So this is the point that the narration is making. That's the point the statement from Prophet Muhammad is making, right? So in episode 12, and I spoke about this idea that we have to concern ourselves with what's happening now and not build up anxieties for the future. No, we do have to make some plans for our future, but understanding that nothing is permanent. That when you're a believer, that you should have the mindset of a traveler, that you should have the mindset of a wayfarer, and understand that everything we do will be up in smoke with our children And definitely by the time our grandchildren come, it'll be gone. They'll have their other concerns and other things will be on their minds. And the world will change, right? The most constant thing in the universe is change. Things will change. So that's all your brother meant. And I hope that we could take the statement from Prophet Muhammad, on him be peace, and look at it and study it. And of course, the statement has many meanings, like most great sages and prophets and spiritual masters. When they give us a little nugget in a statement, we can look at that statement and turn it upside down and in and out, and we can get many, many, many interpretations from it and variations of translations from it. So it's something to definitely think about and contemplate on, okay? So that's my message for today. Inshallah, it benefits you in your life. You find some benefit in it. And if so, please do me a favor and like this particular episode and subscribe to my channel, The Chocolate Chick. We appreciate you. Love you. Y'all take care. Peace.